What exactly is this about? All right, you guys ready? Here we go. This is what it's all about. Billy Bob Thornton's arm is actually skinnier than Sandra's. Look at this. I laid Billy Bob's arm over hers, and if you zoom in, you can see that the edge of her arm right here on the right-hand side is a little wider than Billy Bob's arm. Billy Bob has, female arms is what I'm saying. And terrible tattoos. Of course, we went over that before. He has some of the worst in the business. But look at that. I mean, look at that. There's no denying it. There's no denying it. He's got a female arm. Okay. So, carrying on that note, I decided to do a whole segment on Billy Bob because he's such an interesting guy. Where to start? I'll start with, I guess, his hair. Here we go. So this is from Sling Blade. I've actually never seen this movie. I hear it's great. So you can see his hairline here. Now, sure, this could be for the movie, I guess, right? Who knows? Check it out. Look at that. Pick 2. That's just his hair. It's just what it is. So then, several years later, he has a full head of hair. Look at this. He's always got a new, interesting look. No shame either. He doesn't even care. Here's a transitional pic. Might even have one more. 2001 and 2010. Hilarious. And the guy doesn't even care. It's awesome. Props, man. And you're probably saying to yourself, who cares? He's got money. I would buy hair. I would do it too. I mean, I would love to buy hair. That's why I'm doing this podcast. You know what I mean? Program. That's why I'm doing this program. Shit. That was close. Yikes. So, big whoop. He has female arms and fake hair. Is that against the law? Well, let's see what else we got. So he's also, I guess, kind of known for being an asshole. Not a ton of people seem to have a lot of nice things to say about him. And he just acts weird. Here's this interview. A lot of people have seen, maybe you haven't. Just play a little bit of it. This is just the setup. They're introducing Billy Bob. And this is how it goes.
Of the time is Oscar-winning screenwriter, actor, and director. While Billy Bob Thornton's name is most often linked to his cinematic endeavors, The Boxmasters is anything but a diversion from the silver screen. He's always intended to make music, and he just got sidetracked. These days, music is a major priority
his face. He's
in his life, and it's something he's obviously embracing. And I'm pleased to have all the members of The Boxmasters, Billy Bob Thornton, JG,
he's
Andrew,
completely
Mike
tuned
Butler,
out. Everyone
and Danny
looks
Baker
tuned out.
here
Everyone
in Studio
looks
Q.
pissed
Hello,
off.
boys.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to have you here. 3 albums in the past year?
Yeah.
That seems ambitious.
That's the ones that have been released.
We've got a
recorded
lot more
about
than
5.
There's more.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys formed, Billy Bob, you guys formed only in the last couple.
He directs the question to Billy Bob. And let's see how he receives this question.
Of years, right?
I don't know what you're talking about.
How so?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Well, when did the band form?
I'm not sure what that means.
Oh, well, when did you guys first start playing together?
We started about 2 years ago, and we.
All right, so this dude's like, everyone seems to be kind of on edge. This guy kind of seems to think it's maybe a little funny. Let's get a little inside scoop of what's happening from Billy Bob himself. He was on Jim and Sam, and here we go.
Music note, because I just thought of it. That interview that you did that went viral and everything. You know what I'm talking about in Canada.
Oh, yeah.
Do you regret that you got it so visibly annoyed, or was it the exact same thing that you were trying to do your music and it wasn't? You didn't feel respected?
What was weird about it was that I was vilified and not this cat. That's what I didn't understand. It's like, because, the way they write about that incident, which is, first of all, I couldn't believe it was news. And the second thing is that supposedly I went on.
All right. Just super quick. Completely different look. He's always got a new look. It always looks like he just bought a slave. It's very impressive. He's got a real Southern farm owning / people owning kind of vibe look to him. I'm not saying the way he talks, also the way he talks, but that's not what I'm saying. All right, let's carry on.
I went on a rant, and I barely was audible.
You didn't say a word.
I was just kind of sitting there. I mean, I went nuts, and I was on drugs and all these things. It's like, no, that didn't happen.
Right.
You didn't see what really happened. What happened went on before.
So now he's going to explain what happened right before that clip that we saw happen. Because the clip that we just saw was the very beginning of that program. And now he's going to explain what happened right before then.
And all I was saying was, I'll talk about whatever you want. I don't care. I don't mind talking about movies. Mm-hmm. All I said was, can you do me a favor? Because it says on your teleprompter there that you're going to introduce us as Academy Award-winning actors here with his band. And I said, would you show some props to my guys here and just introduce us as the band, and then let's talk about that. That's all I said.
Sure. Wow.
That's all I said. And they said, yeah, sure, no problem. And then I saw that they didn't take it off of there, and said again, look, could you tell the guy, to the producer, could you tell the guy, just make sure, oh yeah, that's just for reference, don't worry about it. We'll never do that to you. First thing, looks me right in the eye and says, basically, I'm going to say it however I want to. And so that's what happened.
That makes a lot more sense.
Okay, so from what he just said there, that sounds right, I guess. I mean, the story technically checks out, but I do have a couple clips from the director of Bad Santa, Terry Zwigoff. He also directed Ghost World, and he is on, I have no idea what this is from. It's an interview of some type, and he's talking about Billy Bob. Here we go.
Preface the story with, I had run into the guy who had done the original Sling Blade as a short film they called it a Sling Blade. His name was George Hinkenlooper. I went up to him and said, hey, I really love this short. And how come you never directed the feature? How come Billy Bob Thornton directed the feature? And he didn't want to talk about it. I later learned, and I saw in print, and so I don't get it wrong, I actually wrote it down. He said, quote, Billy Bob Thornton was so abusive to me and the people I was working with that I could no longer really stomach talking to him. So
that was just from a short that he had done, right? Before Sling Blade.
Whoa. It's a little bit of concern when Billy Bob was hired, but I thought, people act differently in different situations with different directors. This will be fine. He was just an insufferable asshole. Just an insufferable prick. I mean, and, it started out where, he'd be drinking, and I'd think, maybe it's just the booze. Because, at 7 a.m. in the morning, he'd be there with his paper cup.
So that's hilarious and still kind of cool. Like, Billy Bob's just drinking on set. Here's one last clip from Terry.
I think he did try to be nice. The first couple weeks, he was pretty nice, I have to say. And then it just one day he just went off on me. And it was from that point on, it was you remember Breaking Bad, that Mexican meth dealer villain, Tuco Salamanca? He was like that. He was that volatile where, that guy would turn around and cut your throat, or he'd have another snort of meth and get in a great mood for 30 seconds. It was very unnerving. And not any fun. If you want to get a very good sense of what it was like, there's a thing on YouTube just Google Billy Bob Meltdown. He
right, and I believe he's referring to the clip we watched before.
A meltdown on some TV or radio show. He's just sort of squirrely and difficult, and it just was created such a toxic work environment that I see.
I wonder, is he just passive aggressive, or is he violent? I'm interested about that because he doesn't really get into, like, he just said before, he just said he was squirrely and hard to deal with, and then I think at one point in time he says he like just went off on him. So maybe a mix of all of them.
Still resent him for it to this day because it could have been fun. Everybody else was great. Everybody else in every picture I've ever worked with has been great. About 3 weeks into shooting, I got a phone call from a film director. I probably shouldn't mention his name, but he's a well-known guy, and he called saying, "You don't know me, but I'm calling to give you moral support because I just directed him a couple movies ago, and let me guess, day 12, right?" And I said, "Yeah, it's around day 12. Why? What does that mean?" He said, "It means you've shot enough film where you can't fire him. So he's going to be an asshole."
So I thought that was super interesting. Like, he knows the ins and outs. I'm always wondering how that works, you know? Not because I'm in the movie business. I made a movie. Go check it out. Second Degree Burn, a Burn Notice story, streaming on Tubi.
After Bad Santa came out, I got a call from Harold Ramis. You know who Harold Ramis is?
Sure, of course.
And he had just seen Bad Santa, and it was just sort of a congratulatory phone call, like, "Hey, I love the movie. It's so funny." And I said, "Oh, thank you. It's really nice of you to call." And he said, "Yeah, I'm really excited about this movie, The Ice Harvest. I got John Cusack. I just hired Billy Bob Thornton. So Billy Bob Thornton's going to be so great. He was so great in your film." And I'm thinking, Jesus, should I warn Harold of this? I'm thinking, it was a bit of a dilemma. And I didn't say anything because I thought, maybe they'll just have a different relationship than we had. And about 4 months go by, I get another call from Harold Ramis. He just finished shooting the film. He says, "Why didn't you fucking warn me?"
That Billy Bob, am I right? You know what I mean? We will be back with our guest right after the word from our sponsor, which is Sour Power Get Wet.